Hello, everyone. So, Brawlhalla just did a dev stream that is the best, update stream I have seen maybe of all time. I guess since 2017. It has been decades. They called it the office hour stream. They have no viewership rewards, so there are probably a couple thousand people who have tuned in overall. Nothing as crazy as when they do have viewership rewards. But this stream, they went over guilds. They went through a ton of just content updates and current progress of their office and their development. And that clarity and communication is something so inspiring. I'm trying to be a game dev. If you want to check out my game Spar Kart, check it out. Link is down below. You can request early access. But seeing developers very clearly communicate to their community is so inspiring, and it's something I really want to do for our community one day. And let's watch the stream together. I tuned in towards the end of the stream, and I got the very end of some guild announcement stuff. But let's watch it together from the beginning, because this is truly something special. There's a ton of information, and I hope you enjoy it and appreciate it as much as I do. So we're going to skip through this, really look over the most important things like the content updates and clear communication. But you can already see, yeah, they're in the office. This is awesome. No, they're not at the beach.
We are in the office currently.
Like right away, they have a whiteboard in the background. It looks like the event hub center. Just a lot of design stuff. Like, absolutely love it. Steven with the business hat. That's fire.
Office. Can you guys hear us? We've never done this.
Don't
we ever
look.
streamed straight from the straight office before?
No.
I don't think so.
That's crazy.
This isn't the entire office. It's just this is a photos
This
office.
is just my office.
We don't. Yeah, all the animators actually.
It's cool saying. So this is Photo's office. So that's Photo's whiteboard. That's awesome.
I have here. This was like.
Well, you have here the whiteboard with
this
photos
was like. Oh yeah.
We've got some of the design. It's
That's
like
funny. That is event center.
this is where it starts,
design.
right, on a whiteboard. Okay.
Love it.
Anyway.
That's how it all starts. That's how it should
Event center,
start.
that's
That's great.
goated. I know,
Sarah's
she's
our
amazing.
UO.
Those
So-
whiteboard
She's
schizo
amazing.
drawings. Those drawings are if the community saw that stuff, I think they'd really appreciate it. And now seeing it, I think is just special. It's so
We
cool.
have
now
been-
we're getting
So
some
cool.
actual UI.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Brawlhalla do anything like
Speeding
this
up
before.
What used to be a sports queue showed up on a weekend for like a little while, and a dual queue showed up randomly. That was us kind of like testing this new tech that basically lets us, from the server side, while everything's live, turn things on and off, turn queues on and off.
Nice. Addressables.
And lets us have multiple different game modes in a single queue. And basically what I'm getting at is now we have the ability to develop like more experimental things, and we're just starting to do that.
Love it.
And be able to test it with the community in a really focused way, where it's like, oh, this weekend we got this crazy queue coming in, and
Love it.
Not a crazy queue, but like we got this feature that we want feedback on, specifically this one thing, and we'll have a queue that focuses in. Right
So
on that
cycling
one thing.
experimental cues.
And,
That's cool.
So now we can do, that's kind of close to like a public beta branch,
It's not a bad solution to the problem.
Let's see. I was sad when
Especially
the
to
pub
keep the
went
queues
away.
alive.
That one was. While it is technically a LAN, like we are dealing with the local area network, and we're not like leaving to the internet. Actually, we are leaving to the internet to authenticate with Steam.
Mm-hmm.
But then we come back, and so what we're doing is something that no other, like no non-official party would be able to do. And that's, we literally bring a server into the house, like into the building, to be able to do, like when we do BCX, there is a server whose server region is BCX. And all the builds that we make that are running on those computers are set to connect to that server's region.
Other games can do this in a non-official way, but it might compromise security potentially. It depends on the game. Minecraft is a really good example. Minecraft servers allow you to do this. There's software called like Bungee Cord, which is basically like a relay server. It essentially, you connect to Bungee Cord and then it distributes your connection across its servers. So like, let's say I'm playing Minecraft and I want to play a Minecraft game mode that is like Brawlhalla, right? Like, I played Super Craft Bros. Anyone who's like old and knows Minecraft Smash Bros equivalent, Super Craft Bros. Anyways, if I want to play Super Craft Bros against Foda, what we would do is connect to a hub server, and then we would join the Super Craft Bros queue, and Bungee Cord would then know that we're trying to get into the queue, boot up a server, another server for this game mode, and then we'd connect to it, right? It's possible, because obviously there's third-party Minecraft servers that can do this no problem. It's really, does the company want to distribute access to their server container publicly? And that is the question. Brawlhalla, obviously not. They've got like things in the game where you want to earn skins, and you want to make sure that if people are playing online or even sometimes offline, like you need to own the skins, right? So in that free-to-play business model, it can be tricky, especially when there's publishers and there's a lot of people to deal with. If you do it early on in development, like we're hoping to do, I think that something like that is possible. I'll keep you updated on my game. But yeah, it's just something to note for sure, for the LAN hosting and environment, and like how to make that as seamless and accessible as possible.
So no, we can't, like the way the game is made would not allow us to actually use like LAN. Like I feel like you're talking about like Halo 1, right? Like where you can like host a LAN game and you can connect your OG
Yeah, you need a server. It's not like a host client.
Xboxes together on your router and be able to hook it up that way. That's not possible. But I mean, I got it done like before I was a dev and hosting tournaments, hosting in-person tournaments. Just use a video splitter, right? Like 2 monitors, 2 keyboards.
Yeah, you could do it that way
split
too.
the signal and make it run.
For Brawlhalla, it's a lot easier. For a game like Halo or even my game like Spar Kart, it's impossible because different cameras for different clients. Brawlhalla, it's 1 camera. You see all 8 players in a match at most, or 2, or however number of players are playing. But for something like Halo, it's first person, right? So everyone needs a different screen.
On a single computer. I understand how dope it would be if LANs were like, you know, if it was like Counter-Strike 1.6 people that would use it. But, dude, local tournament organizers are the GOATs. We need them, and we want to give them the tools that, you know, we want them to be able to do it more easily, you know. And we give them all Legends packs. We try
doesn't unlock all the stances,
we've added
but
some
yes.
features recently where you can now like change names in an offline lobby.
Yeah, that's awesome. You used to be able to do it in tournament builds.
Will be unlocked in an offline tournament mode lobby. Just things like
it's gone
that.
better.
Like, we want to make it easier.
Yeah, that's great.
LAN stuff can't really do. All right, let me scroll. Let's
love it. I'm clipping that, throwing it on Twitter later. Follow me on Twitter at Cosolix.
Tell you what, dev team's definitely scared of adding any more colors to the stores.
Nice.
But yeah,
I like it though.
I think it's a good way.
It's funny
do
because
it.
at first the reaction is like, "This is prohibitive. You can't charge for a color." And they're like, "Well, I would buy it if it like pulsed and changed colors, like it was an animated color swap."
Love it.
Which is interesting. So you know,
it's not possible, unfortunately.
It's not possible. Well,
we tried that. I wanted holographic colors.
I know. Well, to do that, so
that's
tinting a color
feedback.
programmatically ends up losing fidelity. It just looks ugly.
Yeah.
Especially you have like octopus eyes where you can see like lots of colors. Like our artists are like trained.
I think there's like in modern game engines, there's shaders that can change. Like I think a good example of one that changes that looks amazing. Not so much a color, but the weapon itself is in Valorant. There's like champion bundles where like you have a gun that when you get like eliminations in Valorant, it starts glowing and changes effects. I think enhancing colors, maybe a color that has like an aura effect that expands as you do better in the game. I don't know. I think there's things you can do, not necessarily the entire color changing like it's a chameleon, but there's that middle ground where you can do color enhancements and that could be paid for, and I don't think anyone would have a problem with that.
Like, you know, so we would just like barf at our mouse if we saw that, but also some people would too. Like, you know, I saw someone complaining that Ascended Wushang glowed too much, and I was like, you know how hard it is to make something glow that hard only using like color contrast in 2D. Like, Yeah, he's supposed to glow.
Wushan
He's an
glows-
ascended monk.
Wushan glows exactly the right
So
amount.
for every idea that you guys think would be awesome, somebody else would maybe not like it. It wouldn't be their jam. And so we kind of have to be like a filter for all of that. So it's not that you're not being heard. It's that we are going a different direction sometimes. I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe there is a way to do it. Sometimes a programmer will get a crazy idea and then they'll mock it up, and proof is in the pudding, right? Like if you can make it a visual that I see and we go, like big head mode, right? Let's talk about big head mode.
Everybody loves
Big Head. Big Head mode was probably our most successful prank
April
because
Fool's prank.
50% of people loved it and 50% of people really hated it, which is like
Okay,
that's really the
they dropped Big Head mode the weekend of a tournament. Pros did not like that. Everything else about it I thought was outstanding.
known for a
just some
prank, but
context.
what happened was we had a programmer who was like, yo, I figured out how to make everyone's heads really big programmatically. And we all had tears in our eyes laughing. And we were like, if this sparks that much joy in us, and that's really what game design is like we have to...
That is. Follow the fun.
We follow the fun.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
we were like, let's do it. And we're like, it's good to have like bugs. This could be like dangerous. We're like, whatever. Like, put it in. So we did this whole
For
big
one day.
thing for like one weekend to make Big Head mode happen.
Shout outs to the people who were there for Big
My
Head
favorite,
mode.
somebody was like, this proves that the devs don't care about the game. And I'm like, you have no idea how hard it was to pull off. Big Head mode wasn't easy. You may disagree that it was a good idea, and I think there's a fair case for that.
It's
I think
fair-
if you
it's
think Big Head
fair.
mode was stupid, then you're
It's a good
kinda
idea,
right.
wrong
But
timing.
Dude, it hurts when people say we don't. It hurts when people say we don't care because we care.
It was
a
so
lot.
hard to make Big Head mode happen and then take it out.
Yeah, that was. I don't think I've ever said that they don't care. It was more showing that care that I've definitely had a problem with. More for the community to always be on the side of the devs, and that communication, seeing the office, like that is so important.
But I would love to bring it back.
Right.
I would
Are
love
there
to
any
bring it
plans
back.
to update the tournament map pool? Yes.
Always.
After,
Oh, yeah, the map pool
after
sucks right
PCX
now.
is over.
Yeah.
It'll be updated.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
It makes it. They
I
do it
know
every year.
I'm working on a couple pitches
For some maps.
for some map geometry.
Yeah, that's the other thing
Um,
is within our office, like like the community, people inside, we all play the game, and people have different things that they care about most. Now, obviously, Foda, former rank 1 top player,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
cares
yeah.
a lot about
Bias. I
the
love it.
esports scene
Good
and
bias.
competitive integrity.
That is-
So when
Yes.
Foda designs a map, it's going to be no nonsense. It's going to be.
There's a little nonsense.
Oh, there is. Oh, wait, what?
Okay, actually,
You want okay?
I've got it. Can I
Oh.
show
Ooh,
it?
let's see
Yeah,
it.
why
Love
not?
it. Love it.
It's
Love it.
geometry.
Love
It's
it.
only
Love
the
it.
real ones
Let's
in
see
here.
it.
How spicy could
So
this
it's
geometry
This
just,
is
it's just
perfect.
some geometry. It's not final, and it's a little wacky. But I talked about it on the last dev stream I was on. I was like, "What do you guys think?
Oh, you're really hyping this map
What do you
up,
guys
dude.
think about? Sorry, what do you guys think about a map, a 2v2 map where the platform's like long, but the walls are close, right?
I don't even know what that
because
means.
obviously
I don't know what that
you
means.
like the kill box is
Yeah.
like close to the edges of the stage.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
you can
Small
get
kill
early
box.
knockouts basically
Got
if you
it.
catch people far from the center of the stage.
Hmm.
Kind of scared to do that because as soon as somebody gets gimped once,
Yeah, I would never put in the competitive
You know,
queue.
but,
I'd put in ranked, but
all
not
right, I'll just go to
because
show
you
it
could
once
turn
real
on
quick.
competitive
Here
like
it is.
tournament maps.
Just a little geometry.
Okay. The thing is,
Interesting.
No big deal, right? No big
wait,
deal.
what did I even see?
I don't mind that
That
personally,
looked like,
but it
that
can't be
looked like
too
we
early to
put
get
Brawlhalla
kills.
on Ozempic. Okay, that's fine.
It looks too
I
small.
kind of like it.
It's
needs a
longer
bit
than
bigger.
Demon Island.
Ooh,
But
little
I like the
stealth
longer the
Brawlhalla.
demon. It
I
just
kinda
needs a
like
little
it,
bit.
sure.
It needs more
Walls are
space.
closed.
It's going
In
in.
my
You
opinion.
know,
But I
how
like
well
the
will it
idea.
do in a competitive environment?
If you find the balance between current Demon Island and that map, I think that would be perfect, especially for twos
No, but
at a pro level.
maybe you'll see this geometry or something like it show up.
Love
on
it.
Platforms are
Okay.
that's something that I was just talking about, that new dynamic queue system that we've got now that will allow us to like be able to make a test map and then launch a queue for like a day or two. Where the only
Adjust
map
rules, 100%.
that's possible
That's
to be
great.
played in there is the new test map that we want to get
Oh,
feedback
that
on.
is-
That's a great idea.
And then boom, we can just get that feedback.
Doing that from the ground up is really
Also,
important, and something I'm
we were
looking
actually-
into
it's
literally
funny, our
right now
map
for my own
team
game.
was talking about like removing the test map option recently, because we haven't used it in a long time, right? Like when you go into game settings, you can
Yeah,
turn
you
on
could
test
remove it
maps,
then,
right? And that's like
but
what wheel was.
I think it's cool to try.
Hold your hold your applause. But I was actually thinking, like, I wonder, if it's okay that players could access maps that look like what you just saw, where the background's black.
I think it's important players do get access to that.
The solid collision lines are blue. The soft collision lines
Love
are
it,
red,
love
and
it,
that's
love
it,
it,
right?
love
Because
it.
that would really allow us to test a lot of geometry real quick if we didn't have to stub in art assets onto them. Or I guess we could reuse old art assets, but if you start stretching them, they look worse, I think, than a red line would.
Back when we
Steven's
launched
gonna
on
explode.
PS4, I saw my brother-in-law playing on Old Cave before it had like
Oh, I love Old
it had
Cave.
just like
Yeah.
Mammoth Fortress like stamped
Lines
everywhere.
would just be better, right? Just show the collision
lines would be better.
Lines
Yeah.
would be better.
Lines
Okay,
would be
you're
better.
the art director. So,
Yeah, lines would be better.
right?
Let's
If
not
you say that we can do
so
it, I
bad
think you're the
looking.
only person I need to convince, actually.
That's true. That's true.
I think you're actually the
Fire.
one
To
to
the
convince
top.
here.
Yeah, so
Fire.
these complaints
Can
are going
we-
straight
love
to the top,
monarchies.
actually.
So are you cool with having test maps in, like, if you enable test maps, people start
This is the best thing ever. Just like make game design decisions to the public in the moment. Like,
seeing these like black
Thank
background,
you.
blue
Thank
and red
you,
line
Brawlhalla.
maps? Is that chill? Like if you saw
so
your
inspirational.
brother
Like I'm gonna
doing all
cry
those
almost.
maps,
Like this is so
I would feel
beautiful.
way
Like,
better
the
about
hell?
that than just like turning the platform of
And like I make a lot of videos about like, oh, I'm like scared about Brawlhalla's future. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. I like being fair and I like being honest. And I'm gonna say my honest opinions. And my honest opinion of this is the best stream they've done, and maybe of all time. Up there for sure with the OG streams. And this is a beautiful way to communicate to your community. And it is incredibly inspirational. And like, round of applause for Brawlhalla doing this in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. But this is something truly special.
fortunate a stamp tool and pasting it everywhere. That was pretty gross. So yeah, maybe maybe that's a good idea. Just like make them look unfinished, and so people won't be like, "Ew, is that what they put in this
All right,
game?"
it's obviously it's a test map. Okay, well maybe we'll do that here coming up soon.
Love it.
Hold up, let me scroll up. Someone's been spamming.
Also, when they say soon, they don't mean this week. They don't mean this month even. So don't just be pinging them for like, when are guilds, when are paps. and
please
stuff.
change the game engine because it's laggy. We can't.
Yeah, you can't. I know.
I
It's
forgive you
custom.
for asking for yelling that. It doesn't work that way. Like literally, we can't change the game engine. That would take years and years.
Yeah.
And then we're not working on.
You have to pitch it
everything
away
else
in the
that totally
background,
needs
if
to be worked
anything.
on.
I think they should like get one person to do it over like 10 years and pitch away until you make Brawlhalla 2 and support both games. Like I think Splitgate's a good example where there's Splitgate 1, Splitgate 2, and you're still supporting Splitgate 1 to some degree, similar to Rivals 1, Rivals 2. So I do think it's important long term. Don't think it's going to change in the next 5 years.
Can't change the game engine, but we may one day have to make the PC engine, or like what's running the PC version, be what is currently running on consoles, like all the tech behind that. Because one day, the PC engine won't be supported anymore. Like it's
an old
I think
engine.
we're like the last
Yeah.
big game that's using Adobe Air to do anything.
Okay, they said it publicly. Yeah, there's Adobe
And
Air.
One day Adobe Air will stop working. Like one
Yes.
day there'll be no financial reason
Yes.
for whatever tiny team is like continuing to support it through all of Windows
Yeah.
updates and stuff.
Great. Let's fill the community with existential
But
dread.
no,
It's
gonna
it's
be
the
fine.
truth.
gonna
It's
be
the
fine.
It'll be
truth.
fine.
It'll just run on the console tech, and then everything will be homogenous. But right now the game feels exactly how PC players like it has to feel the way it does right now. But we are that is like in the back of our minds. One
Yes,
day we don't
one
know
day.
when it'd be.
Yeah.
Maybe another 10 years. Or
Thank
so,
you
but
for
one day it's
saying
gonna have
this.
to go on.
In the last video, I did a video on how to save Brawlhalla. This is literally what I talked about. Oh, like maybe Unreal's. I don't know what engine they use for console. I don't know. He's kind of implying that there's two engines to the game, one for the mobile and console, and then one for PC. It seems like Adobe Air is definitely PC. I don't know if they use Adobe Air for the console one. I don't know what they use for the console stuff or the other platforms. But this is literally a valid point. You cannot rely on Adobe Air long term. So either Brawlhalla 2 or changing the engine. Like, I want this game to last forever. I think everyone does. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that. But it is an important conversation because it's going to be in the back of our minds, both the community and the developers, for years to come. Adobe Air is just not a game engine you can rely on. So yeah, that's a very important answer to a question that was in the last video. And it's been a big debate with the Brawlhalla community of like, can they switch game engines? So thank you for addressing that. Thank you, whoever asked that question in the chat. Thank you for asking that question. Oh my God.
The cons. We have got some ideas. We are not going to change anything before BCX, but we're trying to cook up
Do it after BCX.
a change to dashing, specifically dash landing and dash jumping, which right now give the player a lot of control.
It's good control,
over, like,
but it causes
rollback. And honestly, it feels really fun to do, but understandable. We've seen it evolve in the competitive community, and it's doing a little more than what we expected.
For sure.
So yeah, there's some changes.
Finding
to come
that
there.
iteration
We're talking
between
about
the two.
all kinds of things. We'll see. We're going to iterate internally, follow the fun.
Love it.
And then we'll do an experimental queue, just like we were talking about.
Love it,
you
love
guys
it,
will
love
get your
it.
hands on it, and hopefully we have something that is like agreeable to the majority of the community, and then push that out right after BCX starts. We've even thought about, and don't quote me on this later, all right? But we've even thought
Quote him. Hold him to it. Quote him.
We've
Get
even
him.
thought
Get
about
him.
tying it to the speed stat a little bit, so that like
Ooh.
Thea running 10 speed
Thea main.
can move. Hold up.
Okay.
Thea running 10
Interesting.
speed
Interesting.
can move the way that people move now, but like what's a super slow? But Queen Nai is maybe closer to like what Queen Nai used to look like back in the day.
Back in the day.
But and then that's like, okay, but now we need to
I'm
make
old.
strength and defense wider stats to like balance how that affects the other
Not even
stats.
mentioning dex. The one stat point that's like useless, and he says speed, strength, defense. Love it.
Yeah,
I know
we
he's just
are-
forgetting in the moment. It
we're
doesn't matter
cooking
at all.
up.
It's just
And there
really
is-
funny.
Let me tell you, there is a fire under the dev team when it comes to like core gameplay mechanics and transformative gameplay changes.
Love it.
We are cooking. We're cooking more
Love
than
it,
ever
love
right
it, love
now.
it.
And
There
now
should
that
be
we
a
have this
fire, but
new
love it.
Dynamic queue technology. It really will let us iterate faster than before.
Also, if you're a dev and you don't have a fire under your ass, I think that's also kind of a problem. I think it's a good thing for people to hold you accountable, but also to be accountable to others. And I think that's a great relationship between a community and a development team, where community should want stuff and then the developers should get a bit of a fire under their ass to deliver, and vice versa. Like, then the community has a fire under their ass to like help the game in a way. Maybe not the same as well. Both sides doesn't need to be equal. But I think that fire under your ass is so important. If there isn't a fire under your ass, I don't think good shit is going to get done. And that's just the truth. And yeah, love it, love it.
Now we can like get the feedback. Like we can turn it on and get the feedback pretty immediately. Unfortunately, any changes we make still have to wait for a new patch. We can't kick out new code like that. But being able to toggle the queues on and off really help with us being able to like try out more extreme things, because it doesn't need to be sitting there as like the pretend 1v1 unranked mode.
Yeah, that's
for
cool.
2 months
To constantly
before it
switch
exits.
and iterate.
So there's more.
Well, not
There's
iterate,
more to
but
do
you know,
with that.
constantly
I
flipping
saw someone
levers. That's
ask
cool.
you about Dex.
Yeah.
Let me just throw something out there. We're all the real ones.
This is Fred. This is
We're
like.
all, yeah.
this-
I don't think you
these
know about what
I do know.
You do? Oh, okay.
I'm cool.
All right, you're
I'm
up with
I'm
it.
looking the channels. I read them. I
Love
see
it,
stuff.
love it.
And also,
Thank you,
I had this
Steven.
conversation IRL with a
Let's-
real person
let's
like
go.
last week about Dex.
So we've
Love it.
had an idea. Leave 9 Dex Brax the same. All right. Dexterity is like the lowest value stat to players. Just as far as, because the amount of stats that a legend can have is zero sum, right? They all have the same amount of total stats. It's pretty common belief, I think, in the community that Dex is the least valuable. So the more Dex you
It
have,
is useless
that's
depending
less
on the
stats
scenario.
You have and more valuable things, and thus the character is worse, right? Theoretically, obviously, in practice, Cassidy can still destroy, even though. Where's all that Dex? You know, what's happening with all that Dex?
Yeah, Cassidy,
But,
it matters.
To
It
give
depends.
dexterity more value, we've kicked around a lot of ideas, and one that we are hoping to where we are going to soon test it internally. Hopefully it's fun. If it's no fun, I'm telling you something for nothing. But but I'll just tell you what we're working on, because that's what we're doing. We're it's the dev talk with the real ones. We want to tie dexterity. We want to try tying dexterity to weapon durability. So a low dex legend like Taros, their weapon will break much sooner than it does now, like way
That's
sooner.
a good
and
solution.
then maybe the way that
I don't think it would be a
all weapon
problem.
durability works right now is something like 5 or 6 dexterity. And then, you know, if we ever made a legend with 10 dexterity, they would.
Well, one day we'll have to.
Their weapon will never break because they have 10 dexterity.
What? Okay, wait. I don't know about. Wait,
Never
10
is
dex-
crazy.
10, bro.
Well,
Wait, I could hold Lance forever.
well, yeah, but then 10 defense doesn't mean you never die.
All right. Well, it'll
Never lose your weapon.
effectively never break.
Somewhere
Like,
between
unless you're really
a long
getting
time
beat
and
down.
never.
Yeah.
Somewhere
That's a
between
cool
long
idea.
time and
I
never.
like the idea.
You gotta go. You gotta. Sometimes when you're designing, you literally have to pull the lever all the way one direction and then all the way to the other, and
Yeah.
then you can find the reasonable amount in the middle.
Okay,
Love
okay,
it.
wait.
Exactly.
Let me read the reaction to this Dex thing. This is really important.
Some
What
people
do you
liked it,
guys
some people
think
didn't.
about
It
people
happened
don't even know
days of.
weapon durability works.
You didn't want to
Yeah, the weapon durability is
reference.
weird.
I like the colors
Like
because
as a
the
system.
colors, when it's a color, you can read it so fast.
Right.
You can read it so fast. But maybe you are colorblind, which like seemingly half our studio is like colorblind. So
That
maybe it
is
doesn't
real.
work
Yeah.
as well for you. So
Right.
damage numbers are also like an
Yes.
accessibility thing. But it did when you change one thing, sometimes you reveal how strong a design decision was before, and you're kind of working against it. Whereas
Yeah.
like it was fine if the HUD was in the corner because at a glance you're like, I'm yellow, they're red, get pwned. Like you're.
But now the
you
numbers
can
in the
drink that
corner don't
information
make
so
sense.
quickly. But now
Yeah.
that you're looking at 3 digits, 6
Love
digits, 12 digits, 4v4.
Yeah, I
maybe
love
2v2, what
love that they're talking about this. This is the right conversation to have with the community. Even though it's for the competitive players or the most dedicated real ones or whoever you want to call them, or whatever you want to call them. But yeah,
am I talking about? So,
seeing the thought process and the conversation, that clarity is so important.
it's kind of necessitated some
Oh
more
my
thought on the HUD, but that's why it came out that way and why, some of our original design decisions have clung on. But in me personally reevaluating, I'm like, that's kind of genius of the color system is like you can absorb the information so quickly.
That's been a long, well before we were designing major aspects about the game. That was like a long theory that's like part of the original Bible of Brawlhalla design is like to not
original
let the UI
Brawlhalla
be
Bible.
overwhelming.
Yes.
Less
Oh my
UI
gosh.
is better. Try to communicate things in a natural way. Don't just put numbers above people's heads. Don't just put data.
But the
around-
option is important. You could turn it off by default, but the option to enable for
And
sure.
part of the reason why I bring that up is
That's a
I
solution
played
to
a
that.
platform fighter or two with a bunch of UI all around your character, tracking every cooldown. That was pretty. That wasn't.
as a
I
yeah.
appreciated how little UI we had when that happened. But and that's why. Let me, on the real, full transparency.
On the real.
When we first
Love it.
made the damage numbers feature, we had them above the head. Because obviously.
Oh, and then you
so-
have 2 characters stacked, and now you've got 6 numbers
Yeah.
stacked very slightly. It's
Yeah.
like the legibility. Some stuff works in an image, so like we see people in the community mocking up different UI things, and UI is easy to like mock up in an image, but then to make it supported on the
Yeah,
back end can be a
speaking
whole tricky, long process. We're gonna get to some stuff, but just wanted to put that out
Okay.
there as like
The backend shouldn't be that tricky for UI if you build the systems right the first try, but if the systems are a little bit of spaghetti or legacy code, it could be a problem.
If you've seen like a pitch that you think would work great, like maybe we've tried it and there's a reason why it doesn't, but that's what this office hours is going to get into eventually. We're going to show you some dirty stuff that doesn't work, and we'll show you why, and maybe we'll come up with better solutions.
Maybe we'll get some good ideas that totally will
work.
But we're looking at making a weapon durability indicator. We're going through a couple pitches right now.
You love that one.
Oh, what's this?
Durability indicator, interesting.
Something where I wanted some ideas from the community on.
Okay, we're going to feedback.
I'm literally gonna write down notes here. I got my
There's
notepad.
no way we made a list of like
designing things with the community is special, and I love this so much.
Common
keep
divisive.
doing this. Please keep doing this. Please don't let this be a one-time thing.
Coffee isn't on that list.
This should be every 2 weeks.
It was
in my
gonna
opinion.
be the very first
at least
one,
once a month.
But we didn't use that.
We were like, our constituency
coffee
maybe
would
doesn't
happen.
drink coffee.
So here's the thing with skirmishes. They didn't really have an effect on engagement. Like we didn't. No,
that's what I thought.
Because there's a skirmish available, that was like the point of doing skirmishes, was to have this like in between.
I literally said that. Wow. I don't like being right when it's not good for the game, but like.
We didn't.
That's literally what I said.
Use that.
We were like,
right when it came out, that's literally what I said.
Tea versus coffee would happen.
Drink coffee.
So here's the thing with skirmishes. They didn't really have an effect on engagement. Like we didn't.
Yeah.
Because
people don't care about cosmetics.
Because there's a skirmish available. That was like the point of doing skirmishes, was to have this like in between event that could happen when there isn't another event.
Because it's not a compelling enough value proposition to players.
More people log on, games healthier, etc.
It's not guilds.
So that didn't really happen with skirmishes, and that's fair because it doesn't change. It adds more context to your gameplay, but it doesn't change the gameplay.
Doesn't change anything but cosmetics.
We were originally designing it, but we let it rip when it was done, and we saw what it did, and it's fun, it's cool. I like, I enjoy participating in it, but in the end, it's more like a player count thing, that like how many more people joined one team than how which players join in and how they're doing.
I literally always pick the one I think is going to be the least, because I want every time I get a match to be boom, match against somebody.
That's good. That's good.
I like to see that 10x hit sometimes.
So what I was thinking was, imagine this, and then I'm going to ask my question, and you're all going to give us feedback, and I'm going to copy and paste the chat and stick it in a notepad, and I'm going to reference that.
And also, like, the more you do these dev streams, before skirmishes could have ever been curated, right? When the idea was first thought of, get that feedback from the community. If this stream format existed when skirmishes were thought of, I think my opinion and a lot of others and a ton of people would have given this feedback is, I don't think it's a strong enough value proposition for the game to spend that much time and effort on a big event like that. They're cool for some people, but they're not impactful. And you're not going to see those numbers, those difference changes. You're not going to see more people playing Brawlhalla because of skirmishes. And I think it's predictable. I think a lot of things in life are predictable that people don't think are predictable. So, I think it's really important to, you could pitch it to the community, see how the community gives their feedback. If everyone's on board, it's a good decision. And if some people are saying, it sounds fun, but XYZ, because XYZ, maybe you hold back. And that could have saved a lot of dev time. Think how much dev time was spent on skirmishes. The art, the programming, maintaining future skirmishes. It's a lot. It's probably hundreds of thousands of dollars of just dev time, probably. So it's something like this, these office hours streams would have saved all that time and energy. Maybe guilds could have been done by now. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a dev. I'm not a Brawlhalla dev. But, I don't know. It's very interesting.
Oh, no. Be careful. Good ideas.
Okay, so imagine if during the strength versus speed skirmish, that we had a skirmish queue. And when you queue into that skirmish queue, players on Team Speed have 300% speed, and players on Team Strength had 300% strength. And
literally pulling a side flip video.
Skirmish queue where we can have wacky powers, like actual gameplay.
You have to turn it on and off, but those flippable queues is cool.
Temporary queue. If you were there, it was
yeah,
fun.
exactly. Temporary.
It doesn't. It's not changing rank, so there's nothing to like get upset about, right?
Like that's more interesting for engagement than the actual skirmishes. But skirmishes could allow for something like that. It's like I think that's a better idea to help skirmishes become more interesting. Then people want to log in for this queue that might have a specific queue reward, right? So you get a bit more interesting gameplay, and then maybe in the background they can fine tune some stats that are unique to this queue that you can't replicate in custom game rooms. Like this queue is like a one place where you can do these crazy modifications that you can't do in a custom game room. Kind of like playing a video from Sideflip, but you're actually the one participating, and saying instead of having to like mod Brawlhalla or something.
That'd be dope, right? Okay.
It would be
Everybody
dope.
loves that
Because it's basically playing a Brawlhalla mod without having to mod the game. That's a cool value proposition, right?
idea.
We all agree
Theoretically,
that's
it would
pretty
be
good.
dope. We all agree it would be dope.
then
But-
you've got 3,000 speed Thea running circles around
Dude,
you.
it'd be sick. It'd be
It'd be
sick.
sick.
And, yeah,
It'd be
she gets
sick.
one shot by Taros.
Okay, well,
It's like
That might
shoot.
be-
It's
that
like
might
hitting
be
a
cool.
fly.
It
Let's
would be
try it.
cool. We gotta try
So, what other? I want to hear your guys' ideas of what other types of. It makes sense for strength and speed because those were like in-game things.
Yeah, Dex.
But
I
what
don't
kind
think
of
it would make
skirmish
sense.
teams could we do? And then with those teams, I want to hear your team suggestions.
Yeah, it's just
Along with what the power.
it's hard to do this in the skirmish system because the skirmishes could be something like pancakes versus waffles that does nothing. Like, what are you gonna do in game unless you do some like art with it? And it takes a lot more dev time to maintain this. Like, I think you're just going down the rabbit hole of making skirmishes more and more impactful, and like maybe eventually you can make it increase the player count a little bit, but it's never going to increase the player count. Like, all that time and effort is going to be better spent on a system that is more impactful, like guilds or like a tournament hub, or I don't know, maybe there's a queue to test a new legend before they release to give design feedback. That would be awesome. Imagine trying new legends before they come out. Like, that's so cool, and a huge reason why people would come play Brawlhalla again, right? And that's actually low scope now that they can just flip a lever, right? So the point is that I don't think you can force skirmishes to be this thing. I think skirmishes are just a way to give out free content to the community on average. Past that, there's not much value they can provide. So I wouldn't go down the rabbit hole of making skirmishes something that changes the player count. I would think of, like, how can you do less work that will be more impactful? Work smarter, not harder. Obviously, work smarter and harder, but, you know, min-max your hours. Every hour should have the maximum result possible, and skirmishes are not going to be doing that. That's just not what they're designed to do. They will never do that. You'd have to force it, basically. And this is kind of forcing it because it's hard to get good ideas to do queues and to impact gameplay through skirmishes. It's not designed for that from the ground up. So that, yeah.
Like, what
Just my
powers
feedback.
would change for each team in the skirmish queue, in like the special queue that's only available while the skirmish is up, right? Because
Yeah.
that's hard. Yeah, coffee and tea, sure.
300% coffee.
What does Team T have?
I love
Like, what
Steven.
kind of special power does Team T have in the skirmish queue?
I don't, that's,
200% coffee.
Different weapons.
Versus 300%
that's,
coffee.
That's an
Yeah.
idea where it's like if you're on Team
Oh.
Scythe, you only have Scythe legends to choose from in the
Okay.
skirmish queue. That could work. I'm gonna write
weapons.
that.
Weapons is
I'm
good. I was
copying
thinking
that.
Yeah, weapons
items.
is good.
Oh, that could
Boomerang versus spike ball. Just
be. That could be.
Yeah, leaning into what Side Flip is doing. Less into arbitrary debates, more into gameplay debates is better.
Land versus
for sure.
air. I like that one. So like, air.
That's fair. That's
air
fair.
has more jumps. And
Just what Brawlhalla
and
needs.
land maybe. You can. What else? Coffee or Infinite Dex versus 300 defense.
Like, this is
the
why these streams are so important. They're design streams where you just like get a whiteboard and just start taking notes. That's so good.
Stats are an obvious one, but I'm
so
hoping
good.
we can have enough fun ideas. Grounded versus floaty on guilds. So let's go over it together. I didn't label these, so I don't know which one comes up first, but
Okay,
let's
see.
we'll just get to it. Okay,
Hey, you little
guild
cat.
battles. So here's like the mock-up we made of the guild.
You get
Hold on,
points.
where's guild profile? Let me get.
It's the scope for guilds is just crazy.
I actually just want to look at the guild profile. Here we go. Okay, here's the guild profile screen.
That looks good.
So here's the mock-up for the guild profile screen.
I like the
right?
Discord. Love it. That's great.
This is just Photoshop. So like, that's like pretty fast to do, you know.
Right.
You know.
Weekly guild ranking,
And this
weekly
is, this
guild
is the
points.
part
Love
where,
it.
like,
Love
you
it.
know, I make a big design document.
Like this is
talking
so
about how
important
everything
for
works,
engagement.
and then
So
that everybody
important.
kinda
Oh
can
my
see it,
God.
we mock it up in Photoshop.
This will impact engagement.
But actually making it work in the game is
Long term.
so
Short term, you'll see it with the
much
dedicated audience,
more
but it will
than-
turn people casual into dedicated because they care about their friend group's guild, basically, right? This is great.
Just designing one.
And guilds will actually turn into esports teams, basically. They're the synonymous. Guilds might get sponsored if you change a guild name. If you can change the name of the guild, I don't know. But you could definitely do some cool stuff.
Photoshop. And so that's what stream. This is the office hours dev stream. Here is it actually.
Oh, here we go. Profile, set Discord, set avatar, set notice. You can change the guild notice. Cool. I don't know if you could change the name of it.
Like this is in the game on
Weekly
the dev
guild
build,
points,
right?
your contribution. Cool.
You know,
Cool.
People guild. All this
Wait,
worse, right? Because
this is in game right now.
Database
Got it. Nice.
fields, rows are like make this really good product. A guild battle.
Battle
It's going to be the
logs,
same thing
see
that
the
constitutes
logs.
a skirmish battle, right? Where like, if you are in a thing, you guild.
I like the points.
This is active and working. In
This is
the
Sandstorm
game.
Boomy. That's fire.
The amount of work to get from
Definitely
the
not
mock-up
photo.
to the in-game, it's
It's
so crazy
so
that the mock-up was too good.
Freddie.
That's the problem.
I
Is the
know, I
mock-up
know.
made it look like it was
Well,
already
and this
done.
is- hold on, and this is before. This is UI designers haven't touched this yet. This is like mostly BMG Dan, like making
Awesome.
it kind of resemble what the. So this is super not
Being
done.
depth.
Show you guys have logs. Oh,
That's some-
look like that eventually.
That's great. Recruitment, voice chat, social. The filter is interesting. But that's smart. Gets people knowing what they're joining or applying for or whatever.
So
Cool.
the
And the
guild
ranking.
was this bit of a mock-up. This is literally the recruitment page, and here is the updated mock-up. So what you're seeing here is not the updated mock-up. Sorry, opposite of a mock-up. This is literally working in the development build, and what you're looking at here, this window in the front is guild applications that have come in.
Cool.
Or
Then you like approve
the
them or
applicant
deny
data.
them. Cool.
Or making a and
Guild
different
recruitment
tags you're seeing when
posts.
you
Love it. Love it.
That is way better.
Like, I'm gonna want to play the game a lot more once this comes out. That's just the truth. I'll want to be part of a guild. And I think a lot of players who haven't quit but don't play the game very often at all anymore but are still great players will feel the same way. This builds community
of a
by creating
chat
other communities.
room than the
This
game-
is
the
like
game will ever be.
spawning.
And so
This is going to
seeing
spawn
as
hundreds of
That's
communities.
where communities
That's
organize.
awesome.
We have our own Discord.
Truly awesome.
There's a-
It's
or,
so important, and they
like,
realize it,
to
so
the-
it's great.
We're inside the game, which is
This
like
is so much more meaningful than
50 times
skirmishes.
as much work.
If you took out all the skirmish development and just did guilds only, oh my
Mock
god,
up.
that's
Actually, more than 50.
Imagine how
Trying to exaggerate.
crazy it
Way
would
more than
be.
50 times. Talk about get the leaderboard here.
cool
Leaderboard.
tricks.
Yeah,
Leaderboard.
leaderboard.
Woo!
The leaderboard
Maybe I'll turn
there,
Rise Up
leaderboards
into a
and
guild.
XP,
I don't know. I don't really want to manage a guild, I'll be honest.
Main competition. It's gonna be the weekly guild points. That's the main competition. Evo maybe usually better. Yeah.
The
sure,
Crusty
it's the whatever.
Crushers.
Every week you get matched against another guild
Cancel
that's
bad
like
guy.
next to
Cool.
you on last week's leaderboard.
Like a bounty?
It's based on
That's
points.
like,
Cool.
well, it's just was next to you. And you got effects
Earth.
in here. You got, what's this? Ooh, you got some
Oh, that's
yeah.
Raphael. Okay, well,
Oh,
who's
those are
that?
some-
Whoa,
Ooh,
that's
ooh.
the whole
Wait a
thing. Let's
Wait, no, that was cool.
That's sick.
Kaya's.
There's
Oh, forearms could have
That's
been.
cool. That's cool.
There's all kinds of stuff
Yeah.
we're gonna look at.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
the Battle Pass Satori. Some
Oh, yeah,
designs
yeah.
for the way
The
original Battle
little demon
Pass.
mask.
It looks good.
The Ben 10
There's
stuff.
like,
Love
yeah,
it. Love it.
Just all this.
Early. Those sketches.
This
oh,
is,
well,
wait,
there's.
okay,
oh,
let's
no,
talk about
this
this
is- yeah, obviously, the one that people don't want to talk about, probably.
This is the one I want to talk
These are things that I doodle on paper.
That's
when
awesome.
we were making Mako, we're like, okay, we're going to do a shark character who has a great sword. I was like, obviously, they should have like a turtle shell chainsaw fishing pole.
That's sick.
And
That would have been good. That would have been good.
Yeah,
would've been good.
Nobody else thought so. So
Have
we
you
went.
ever seen? Did you ever watch the?
That
Tick
would have been so
back-
cool.
Yeah.
back when
Oh
we were
yeah,
kids?
I
Oh
love the
my
tick.
God.
This reminds me
Yeah,
of the
that's.
Tick.
Mako could have been a
You're,
lot cooler.
you know, another
I think
part of this
Steven's
is
right. I think the water effects are not bad, but it's more generic. This is cool.
Maybe getting to
I'm
know
sad that
mine
this
and Foda's
wasn't Mako.
influences on things. You know, maybe
This
get
is
to
sick.
know-
Yeah, when you see
I love
stuff,
the
it's-
tick. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that's we
It's
can
like
move
the
on from this.
Crimson
Some
Chin
sketches, some
from,
crazy ideas. What if
Fairly
like,
Odd Parents.
What do you want to? Which one do
I don't
you-
even know.
'cause I
You
don't
can-
know. We definitely don't have time to go through everything.
appear kind of like
The effects are very cool.
in
Those
Avatar,
VFX look
where
great.
like you have like a high affinity for one type, whether it's like smoke or fire or water.
These are old. Like I
would
see
have
the
a- I have
roll
a
and
higher
down
affinity
sig, roll
towards
and side
fire,
sig.
So I would say
There's a lot of
Firefighter
just.
stage
I
needs
see the
to
Ragnar
have
down
some-
sig.
Very
cool.
That is probably
Epic
used.
Asuri?
It's probably used on.
Very
like,
cool. Very cool.
right.
So there's
I'm skipping some of this because it's just a lot of stuff that already
Definitely.
exists. But it's just cool
2D.
seeing the transparency.
Stuff, but some of it.
Yeah, the original
We got some
KO
of it.
effect.
Like,
that was one of
really,
the first ones.
I'll
That's
animate
awesome.
over the top of our keyboard. Oh, again,
is got is also
people start
Petra, that's awesome.
by
Like all the stuff, it'd be so
this
cool to
company
see it
was
in the
because-
moment.
So that takes a lot of time. And yeah, that's kind of my proudest thing is that when I started, the reason why I started at this company was because they were still doing 2D hand-drawn animation, which is the only thing I cared about. Even when I was going to college for animation, it was like, you got to learn 3D. And I was like, no, I don't. And I've been,
If you know what you like, do what you like.
punk,
And, like,
2D
focus
artist
on
ever
being, like,
since.
It's cool.
You could specialize.
You can tell
That's
when
awesome.
we do a crossover that's like a 90s cartoon, like Ninja Turtles or whatever. Any of them. Not even a 90s cartoon. Just like Avatar. Anyone that comes from a cartoon belongs so well in Brawlhalla. It just looks so
Yeah.
right, and that's because it's the same sauce. It's
Yeah, that's it for the stuff that is probably important to you. Again, highly recommend watching this stream if you care about game dev at all, and you just want to see what they're working on. Brawlhalla, if you're listening to this right now, anyone who works at Brawlhalla, thank you for doing this live stream. I don't know if you did anything in particular to help with this, other than like I know Foda, Steven, probably someone else at BMG to help them with this and organizing it. This is the best dev stream I've seen since Brawlhalla was purchased by Ubisoft back in 2018, 2019-ish. Yeah, this is truly something special. Please do this more often. Please do this. If I were on the dev team, I would say do this every 2 weeks and just show stuff you're working on. That would be amazing. And that community feedback, just for the design side of things, like Foda, if you're listening to this directly, like lead designer, the best design comes from the community. You're never going to think of something that's a better design than the entire community as a whole. You're only one person, of course. The community as a whole is over 100 million players. So using streams like this to leverage, to create great ideas together, it both helps with better ideas, and you activate and engage your community in such a substantial and a meaningful way that is so beautiful that no games do it, which is crazy, right? This stream is inspirational. I want to do something like this with my game studio one day. Or if my game studio doesn't work for another game studio where I really like what they're doing. So yeah, thanks so much for doing this, and thank you. I'm sure you've listened to a lot of criticism, both from myself, but like obviously everyone in the community. There's a million perspectives always. That conversation's so important because it created stuff like this, and I'm so glad that the devs listen, engage, and understand. If something's criticizing something, it doesn't mean it's a like you hate it or anything. You just want to see it grow. And this is just so special and beautiful. Thank you for doing this again. And I'm really looking forward to future ones. And I will continue making videos about these dev streams if you keep doing them. I want to help market Brawlhalla as much as possible. But I need to believe in love what's happening to want to make videos for this more often, of course, too. And same with everyone. I'm sure there's going to be a Pavelski video. There's going to be an Egg Soup video. I'm small compared to them. So, yeah. Anyways, thanks again for doing this, Brawlhalla. Thank you all for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. But the stock for Brawlhalla just went up because of today. So buy in with your time and energy. Play Brawlhalla. And we'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace.